Okay, I need to share my screen. We're going to get started with Adobe Spark. So Adobe Spark can do a lot of different things. We are going to look at Spark Video. So here is an example. Okay, so that's just an example, quick little overview. You could see how there's images, there's icons, there's video, there's music. So all of this stuff can be added into your Spark video. To me, it reminds me a little bit of the old Windows Movie Maker, where you just drag and drop the images and very simple to work with. So we are going to go ahead and get started creating our own. So my guess is you do not have accounts. So we want to get our account created. So with that being said, go to spark.adobe.com. So spark.adobe.com. So there should be, you are not going to sign in as an educator. You are just going to sign in with Google. I believe it asks you a couple questions. I'll give you guys a minute to get signed in there. I'm going to pause for a second until everybody gets signed in. Okay, now that we're in Adobe Spark, so it seems like there's a lot here. And like I said, we're not going to go through everything. We're going to look at the Spark video portion of it. So this is a great way for the beginning of the school year to do introductions. Students can even create accounts, sign in with Google and use this. They can make little introductions of themselves. Very easy to share things into Google Classroom. A way to get pictures of the class of your students and create like a collage, a lot of different things, morning announcements, anything that you would need a video for. But you can have those backgrounds, those titles, those overlays, so it can spice it up compared to doing like a normal screencastify. So again, you can see over here, there's your home page, which is going to show you all the different things that you can create in Adobe Spark, some templates that are already created for your still images, and then any of your recent projects that you have. It is going to tell you in the corner what type of project it is. So you can see a lot of mine are videos, but here are some posts. So these are any type of signs, posters, things like that. It's text, it's a still image. And then down here, there are some tutorials using Adobe Spark, and there is an app for the phone. I haven't gone that far to use the app, but some of these tutorials actually go through using the app as well. So there are resources there for you. We are going to use the little blue plus on the left-hand side. This is where we can create a new project. So if you're looking here, there's a lot of different things. You can even see it goes right along with Instagram and Facebook, but we are going to actually create our video. So I'm going to click on video, and this takes us into a brand new project. So that's what they call these as projects. So it's going to ask you to name this. So I'm going to call this Lunch and Learn. So we're going to create a session about all our different Lunch and Learn. So this is just titling it. This is the title that you will see on your project list on that home screen. So I'm going to click on next. Then you'll see from here, these are different templates. So as you are looking at some of these templates, it will create them with the slides that they think that you would use for example, a journey or show and tell and so forth. You have the option to start one from scratch down here at the bottom, or if I scroll over a little bit more, I can also make up my own. So, and that is what we are going to go with today, is making up our own, so you can see how to enter everything. So again, you can either say start from scratch or make up my own. So I'm going to say pick this one. It is automatically going to create. It takes a second. It'll generate a few slides. This tip will come up every time until you say do not show this tutorial. It's just a quick way. It just shows you how you can add text video. It's like a minute long. So if you want to look at that at some point in time, do not put the check mark there. Just say, okay, I'm ready. And then the next time you're in, you can preview that video. You can see it created my video. So it automatically has 3 slides from the start. It has your beginning slide, your title slide. Then it has the credits at the end, as well as the Adobe Spark logo. So that always stays on there. So we're going to look along the side here for a second, and then we'll start building. Actually, let's kind of go across and up. So our play, that is how we play or preview our video. So if we want to see how it's looking, if we want to see one slide, whatever it might be, we can preview by clicking on the play. This allows us to add an additional slide. So you can change the layout of these slides and you can move them around, kind of just like a slideshow. You can change the order of them and so forth. And then these are each of our slides, and you'll see once your slides are created, you'll get these 3 little dots where you can duplicate if you want, or if you just want to play from that starting location. We're going to skip over the slide part and kind of look at the side. So our layouts. So again, it's a free version. It's supposed to be super user friendly. So there are only 4 different layouts. So very simple, 4 layouts. That's it. So the first one is your full screen. This is where you're going to have, you can put anything on here: video, text, photos, or icons. So it allows you to put one of each. Okay, so that is your full screen. Then you have what is called a split screen. So, and I'm going to add a new one. Okay, and I'm going to change this one to split screen. So you can see now I have 2 little pluses, and each of those pluses allow me to add one of those 4 things: video, text, photos, or icons. Okay, so again, each plus allows you to add one of those. And these can be switched too as you are working on them. Once you start getting content in, you can switch which one's the solid one and which one's the colored. So it allows you to do that once you have information there. The next one, and I'm just going to add, so we have one of each at the bottom. The next one is our caption screen. So this where a caption would come across the screen. Maybe you have an image in the background and you want to say, congratulations, class of, 2021. You can put that caption at the bottom of the screen. Okay, and then you can see here, it allows you to have the video, photo, or icon. And notice text has disappeared because this is going to allow you to put your text field or your caption. Okay. Then the last one that we have is the text, the title and text. So if I click on this one, you'll see it's going to have 2 icons or 2 pluses. It allows me to add that video or photo, and then these allow me to add my title and my subtitle. Okay, so they're kind of grouped together. So when you're creating your title, you have both of them. They're both going to be listed there. Okay, so now we have one of each. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Any questions with the different types of layouts? And we'll go through creating each one of them here in just a few minutes. If you have any questions, either feel free to unmute or put it in the chat.
Shelley, is there a time limit on the videos in this free version?
The length of the video that you can insert, or the length of how long your video is that you create?
I guess both.
So yes, there is a restriction on the length of videos you can insert per slide, but it does have a feature where it allows you to, it's I think 30 seconds, but if your video is not complete, it will say continue on the next slide. So it kind of stops it real quick and starts it on the next slide. As for the length, that is a good question. I am not sure because all of mine have been like under 5 minutes. So I would have to research to see if there is a restriction on that.
Thank you.
Okay, next is where the theme comes into play. So this is your color. So by default, it just picks the title color, but you can see each of your themes is going to have different, I'll say, animation, as well as the ability to modify the colors. So it's an all or none. It's not slide by slide like you can do in like a Google presentation or anything like that. So if I choose to have green, it's going to change all of my slides to green. So I don't get the option to pick which one I want. Now you can see here, well, let's see if it'll come back. It will usually show you how your text is going to animate. This one kind of spreads across. I just had it on there. There it goes. So you can see that is how my text is going to come in and out. So any of my title text, anything that I have on the full screen, it's going to look like that as it comes across. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to go through these. You can see if I hover over these, it's going to show me what it's going to animate like. And then if I click on it, it's going to let me see each of the colors. So again, if I just click on it, it's going to show me the animation. Then I can start picking on my colors. So you cannot format the font when you are in your video. So whatever the theme has is what you are going to see on the screen. The only thing that you can do is in some of the layouts, you can increase or decrease the size of like the title or the subtitle, things like that. But there's no formatting. So it's based on whatever theme you pick. Okay, so hopefully you found a theme that you like. So now that we have that, we're almost ready to start adding content to our individual slides. But before we go there, we also have one more thing called resize. So resize, by default, it goes to widescreen. So this is the size of most of our laptop screens, things like that. But if you know you're going to be projecting it or using it on a device only, maybe you're going to project it in your classroom on a smart board, the old style smart boards, you can switch it to square. But typically most of the time we keep it on widescreen. And then music, I'm not going to get to the music tab until the end. I will let you guys go through some of these. Most of these are free. Some of them get into, oh, it takes the pay version off. So you'll be able to use these in there. It automatically defaults to 1 when you pick your theme. So you will see one that is selected. Okay. So I'm going to go back to slide number 1. So we're looking at our first slide, and I'm going to start adding content to this slide. So I'm going to click on the plus here, and you can see I can add a video, a text field, photos, or an icon. So let's just start with text. So we're going to say welcome. And let's go with, since this is our lunch and learn. Now you can see I have no formatting options available, but I can increase or decrease this. And I don't have to select anything. I can just start clicking on the buttons because it's automatically going to apply it to my text, no matter what. If I want to get rid of it, I can get rid of it. It's going to delete the entire text box. But notice that once I have added it, I now have my plus over here. And you'll notice that I have lost some things. I no longer have the ability to add more text, and I can't add an icon. I can only put a video or a photo because those are going to go in the background. So let's grab a photo. So I'm going to click here and grab a photo. We'll do a video in a little bit. So a few things that you can do, you can upload a photo that you might have. So I'm going to click on this. It's going to look at all of my photos that I have, and I can pull something in. So let's see, I have a folder on my desktop. Okay, so we're just going to pull in this picture, and I'm going to say open, and then there he is. Okay, so I need to edit. I can shrink this a little bit. Okay, so you can see there's not a whole lot I can do with my images. Okay, so I can increase, decrease the size. I can adjust just a little bit by clicking on it and move it around. So if I want to square it up, I can. Okay. Same thing with my text. Now that I have my image in there, maybe I'm like, oh, I don't like where that's placed. I can't do a lot with my text, but it will allow me to place it in any of the corners or in the center. So maybe I want it down in the bottom corner. You don't have a choice but to have your Adobe Spark icon in the corner. So it's always going to be there. Okay. But notice now that I have added my text and I've added my image, I no longer have that plus symbol. So this is showing me that I am done. It doesn't allow me to, add any more to this. Okay. The other thing that you can do, and this is great for the littles, and I know I have preschool and some elementary on here, but you can narrate. So if you want a story with images, you can narrate the story by clicking on the microphone, and it's going to record on this slide. You know, for upper age kids. So you might want to give instructions. So you might have an image of something in the background of, what you want the assignment to look like. And then you might talk about how they're going to get to that process. So again, here is our narration button, and that is per slide. This slide is going to take 4 seconds in length. So if I want to see just what this slide is going to look like, I'm going to click on this little play button, and it's just going to show me this slide. And you can see that it kind of puts that slow zoom on the image. So if I want it to take a little bit longer, I just click on the clock and I can increase the size. Or I'm sorry, the time. So now if I want to play it, it's going to go through for 8 seconds. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move to our next one. This is our split screen. So again, you can have those items, one of each on each side of your screen. So I'm just going to start with an icon because we looked at text, we've looked at a photo. Let's look at what icons are. They're exactly what they're saying. So it's just looking at, what do you want? So in this case, since I have a picture of Carson with baseball, let's look for baseballs. And it's going to look for any icons that are baseballs. So I'm just going to click on this one. That's a good one. And it inserts it into this area. So notice that once the icon is inserted, my plus has disappeared because I can no longer add anything else over here. So if you click on the little information bubble, it's going to tell you that it's the baseball, and it's in the Creative Commons, so you can reuse this. Okay. Also notice that once content has been added, this is not an option until content has been added. I can switch these back and forth. So you're going to see it's going to switch the color and switch the location. So I'm like, I like it better over on the gray side. So now I have my plus over here, and I can now add text or an icon. So I'm going to add text over here, and I'm going to just type in a little bit of something. Cars. Okay. I don't have many choices for formatting, but I can increase the size a couple times, or I can decrease it. So those are my only options. I'm like, oh, let's fill it up. I can adjust. Okay, so I can get it in the corners if I needed to. And you will see if I go into the center, it automatically center aligns. If I go to the right, it right aligns my text. And if I go to the left, it left aligns. So it's automatically going to do it based on you grabbing and moving the text around. Okay, let's take a look at our next slide. So this is a caption. So this is where we're going to have some type of image, whether it's video, photo, or icon, and then we're going to have some type of text overlay. So in this case, we are going to do a video. So I do know it accepts MP4s. It will not accept .mov. Which is typically what iPhones take videos as. So you would have to convert those into an MP4. Screencastify allows you to, so if you take something from Screencastify, maybe, some screen sharing and you're showing students how to do some work, you can export those as MP4s and then you can bring them into this system. So we're going to look at a video. So, oh, I forgot I had that one. Not going to use that one. My brother got to shake Barack Obama's hand. Let's look at downloads. Okay, so I'm going to grab one, and you can see here the way that I have my download screen set up. I can see what type of movie file it is. It is just looking in my folder for movie files, and it is showing the MOV files as well as the MP4s. However, like I said, if we try to put an MOV in there, it's going to say that this file type is not supported. So I'm going to grab this video and I'm going to say open. So what it does is it brings in the video and it allows you to pull in the part that you want. So I believe this is like a minute long video. Well, I don't want the whole video. I just want a certain part of it. So if you look here, I have my ability to drag. So it is 30 seconds. So it's allowing you to grab 30 seconds of it where I can then continue on to the next slide if I want. But I can also click and drag this whole section and pick out the part that I want. So I don't want all the text part of this video. It was his teacher talking. I just want the part that shows him. So I'm going to kind of crop this up a little bit, and then I can play it, and then I can see that this is the area that I want. And as long as I have it cropped properly, I'm going to hit save. So then it's only going to take this 7 seconds of the video and place it into my Spark video. So it's taking this clip, only this section, and it's going to dump that into my Spark video. With that being said, if you have sound, so if you're going to add music to it, it will tone down the sound during a video clip so it can play the video sound. Okay, so if you have, you're explaining something in a Screencastify video and you're bringing that in, it's going to lighten up the music in the background so that the video sound is prominent. You can mute it if you want. So if you don't want any sound at all, you can completely mute it. Or if you want it to be super loud so the kids hear it, you can change it. But it's set to just soft, like normal sound. Okay. I can continue the clip onto the next slide if I need to. So if there's more, I can continue on with that. If I need to go back in and trim it again, because maybe I had a little too much left at the end, I can go back in to trim. It's going to take me right back to this part. And then if I need to zoom in, I can do that as well. You will also notice here that I have the ability to add that caption. So if I click on that, it allows me to add text. Okay. I can increase or decrease depending on the amount of text that I have. So once I click on that, it's going to bring that in. And then if I need to delete the video, I can remove the video completely. Okay, moving on. So we're going to move on to our title and text. So this one's a little bit different because you actually now you have 3 areas where you can add things. So we can add our background. So we can add a photo or a video in the background. And then we can add our main title as well as our subtitle. Okay, so let's get a still image in the background. So we'll click on, oh, that's a good one. And because I used the baseball images earlier, it tries to find those free videos for you. But you can, going back, I can upload, I can take a picture, or it went directly to the free photos that I can use. But you can see all these different things that you can connect to. So, if you have images stored in your Google Drive from your classroom, you can use those. If you're using Google Photos, which I don't with my work Google account, but I do with my personal Google account. So I could put, pictures from my Google Photos in there. But I just use the free photos. Okay. So then I can add my content into here. Oops, let's do the main title first. Let's see, we'll put his team name. Okay. And again, I can increase and decrease as needed. So you'll see that when you have your title and text, it's kind of, you have both of them. So you have the option just to leave it blank if you want to, but it's automatically going to give you those 2 sections. One is going to stand out, be the main title. The other one's just going to be that subtext that you have with it. So then again, if you want to move it around, you can move these around, but you can see, like I said, they're kind of grouped. They're together, even though they're separate. So if I move one into the corner, they're both going to move. So then, and again, if I want to change my length of time for any of these, I can just click on this. Okay, before we get on to our last 2 that have already been created for us, we can go through again. This allows you to play just this individual slide. This will allow you to play from the beginning into all the way through. So it basically takes you into the preview. So you can see it automatically switches, puts those transitions in there for you. There's my caption. And then this is where we're going to get into now is are ending. So anytime you want to click close out of the preview, just click on the X and it takes you back into where you were working. So I was working on slide number 4. It takes me back into slide number 4 because I clicked from the play over here. Now, if I wanted to switch any of these around, I can just click and drag and I can rearrange my slides as needed. So very simple, it's just a click and drag. Okay. So again, before we start looking at the credits, I'm going to stop there and we're going to go back to our home screen so you know how to get back into this so you can continue editing it, because you're not going to probably create this all in one day. Well, you might not. So I'm going to click right here on the little Spark logo and you'll see that it takes me to home. So once I click on that, it takes me back to my home screen of Adobe Spark. So you can see here are all of the different things I can create. But when I'm looking at this, now here is my recent project. So it is showing me the lunch and learn that I've created and that it's a video. So if I want to preview it, I can, I know I can preview it from here. Maybe I can't. I thought I could. I'm sorry. So I can edit the project from here. I can also invite people into this. So if I invite people, this is different than sharing it. So this is like if I wanted Rebecca to look at this. So I can invite Rebecca into this so she can edit as well. So multiple people can be working on this. You'll also see you have the ability to share. You can rename it and you can download it. This is also a place where you can delete your entire project. So for example, I was working on this and I'm like, yeah, I was just doing it for practice. I can come here, I can say delete, and it's going to say it's going to delete everything. You will also see here down at the bottom, it will show you how many times that this has been viewed. So of course, it's just me working on it. So I'm the only one viewing it. Okay. So if you want to get back into your project, we're going to click on edit. And that brings me back into this. Okay. So let's look at the credit screen. So this is automatically going to populate for you. So certain things are automatically going to be placed on here. You will see that I picked a baseball, so it automatically credits them, the noun project, because I used that baseball from them. So you can add your own credits here. And I'm just making this up, put together by the 3rd grade class. Credit works. So I can modify this, and I want to put things to. Okay, so you can add whatever you want. The credits are going to roll, and then of course it's going to put the Adobe Spark thing on there. Okay, so it's this one you can't really do much with. Okay, so that's about all you can do with that one. So then what you can do is preview your entire presentation. It's going to start from the beginning. Oh, and it got pretty long. I'm going to skip. But you can see it puts the credits on there and then switches to the Adobe Spark. Again, those two, you can modify the credits, but you can't get rid of it. And then the Adobe Spark one, you can't do any modifications to it. So before we start sharing and downloading, let's look at our last option, our music. Okay, so you'll see there's a bunch of different ones in here. And I don't think you guys can hear my music because I did not share music when I did my screen share. But if you guys click on the little icon, it's going to play it for you so you can hear it. That doesn't mean that it's been inserted yet. So you can still see my sweet arrival is still the one that's being used in this presentation. So again, you can keep clicking on it, go through them to see which one that you want to hear. And then when you're ready, you can click on add my music. Oh, sorry. That's click on the name and then it adds your music. Sorry. And it'll change the check mark from the one that I was using, the sweet arrival. And now it is going to use my traveling buddies. Okay. So again, you click next to it to play it so you can hear it, and then click on the name of it in order to get the music into it. The add music, I'm sorry, that one's if you have your own, if you have a sound that you want to bring into it. So you'll see that it goes out and it's looking for your actual music. Okay, and the music is on. If you're like, nope, I have all kinds of videos in there, I'm talking through it, you can actually turn music off and nothing is being played throughout the entire video. But I like having that little background music. It plays it nice and quietly. So I'm going to let you guys go through for a minute and listen to some of these without me talking, so you can actually hear them. So I'm going to pause here for a second. Let's give you guys a minute to find something to put into your video. Okay, hopefully everybody's gone through and at least got to listen to a few of them and picked something. And again, you don't have a choice. It applies to the entire video. So it will play it from the beginning to the end. It'll loop if it has to loop based on, the length, but all of these are kind of just their instrumental background sound for your video. So now we have it. And now what do we want to do with it? So we've created it, we've changed our music, we've added all our text, we have our videos. We want to get this to our students. So how are we going to get this to them? So there's a couple things that we can do here, and you can do this from this screen. You can also do this from within the preview. It will let you do a share or a download from here. So either place, it will take you to the same spot. In the video edit screen, it also allows you to invite, and that was the same one that we saw on our home screen. If I wanted to invite Rebecca into this, I can add her and bring her in and invite her to edit this. Okay. I can also copy the link if I want to copy this and send it out to somebody to be able to edit with me. You can download this. So if I want to download, okay, so you can see that it's preparing. It is going to take a minute, but it's going to download it onto my computer so that I have it. So if I want to share it, I can, share it out, post it on, social media, whatever it might be. I have this video now that has been created in Adobe Spark. And it's going to take a second. You'll see that it says closing this window will cancel the download. So I want to make sure that I'm giving it time to actually do the download. I added that video in there, which makes it a little bit longer. So usually short, if it's just text and like icons, it usually is pretty quick. So it's almost done. Okay, so it's finishing up. So you can see it just put it in my downloads. So whatever I called it on my home screen, so I called it Lunch and Learn, it downloaded it as an MP4. So now I have it on my computer. I can share it out however I would share things. If I want to put it in an email or whatever it might be, I can do that. So the other thing besides downloading, okay, so now I have that actual hard copy of it, I can share it. So how do you want to share this out? Okay, so several different things. I can publish it. I can invite. So if I want people individually, and this is new, I have not used this yet, the send to drive. So I believe it just makes a copy in your drive so you have it. So very similar to if you would download it as the MP4 and then upload it into Google in order to share it with people via Google. I believe this is the same option. So we can check that out too. But what I want to look at is the publish. So when I click on publish, it's going to ask a few things. Hey, like, what do you want with this? What do you want to call it? So I'm calling it Lunch and Learn. Perfect. How do you want to categorize this? So mine, it's just kind of all over the place because I called it Lunch and Learn, but then I talked about baseball. So maybe I want to call this sports. I can categorize it in sports if I want. Who the author is, and may your project be featured on the Adobe Spark website? I'm going to say no, since this was kind of just a practice thing. So I'm going to turn that one off. Okay. If you want any subtitles for this, you can put those in there, but I'm just going to leave that blank, and I'm going to create my link. So you'll see once it creates your link, here we go again, then you have the ability to publish it in Google Classroom. So if you're doing this for sub plans, if you're doing this for morning announcements, anything like that, you can publish it right into your Google Classroom. So let's give this a second as it's creating the link. I shouldn't have added such a long video in there, which, I mean, it was only, I think I got 7 seconds, but it makes the whole entire video longer. It's almost done. The last few seconds takes forever. Okay, there it goes. Yay. Okay, so you can see now it published it, and it is giving me a shareable link. So I can just copy this. I can do whatever I want to this. So if I want to email it out, I can. If I, want to post it on a website, I can. But notice it gives me these options down here that it's going to do some of this stuff for me. So I can post it right to Facebook. So if I have a Twitter account for my school, I can post it right to Twitter. I can send it right to Google Classroom. So we're going to click on that one. So this is typically what most teachers are going to use. So notice it brings up the share to classroom. Which one am I going to post it in? I'm going to post it in my classroom new features, and I am going to use this as material. So it gives you the option to be able to create an assignment. You can ask a question about it, whatever it might be. But I'm just, if you're using the announcement page, so that's the stream, the first screen. If you are using announcements, you can make it as an announcement. So it's posted there versus posted on the classwork page in material. So completely up to you, but I'm going to use it as material, and I'm going to say go. It's going to ask me what it's going to be titled, and this might be my morning. I was afraid of that, Melissa. Yeah, you guys aren't seeing my classroom screen. Hold on, let me stop my screen share real quick. I was afraid of that. Let me move you guys out of the way. Hopefully you guys are good now. Yeah, because it's a pop-up window. I was afraid you guys weren't going to be able to see that because I was just sharing my one window. So here's my morning announcements. So you can see everything's done in this little pop-up window that popped up once I clicked on that classroom button. I can post what classrooms I want it to go to. So if this is for first, second, and third period, maybe it's my sub plans, whatever it might be. But then you can see here, it automatically attached that video here for my students. If I only want this to go to a couple students, so maybe it's certain directions, or maybe it's for class officers or something like that. I can pick and choose what students I want it to go to and what topic. So maybe if I want this to go in, today's work, and then I can either post it or I can save it as a draft. Okay, so as long as I'm only sending it to one class, I can also schedule it. But I'm going to say post. I'm going to click on view. So it's going to open up my Google Classroom. So in my classwork under today's work, here is my morning announcements. And then the students could click on it. And here's the video that they can play. Okay, and we don't have to watch that whole thing. You can email out the link. So if you want, and it also gives you the embed code. So if you're working with Google Sites, if you're a Google Sites user, you can copy the embed code and put it right into a Google Site. So then it embeds that video right in there. So, and I don't think anybody on here is using Microsoft Teams, but same concept as Classroom if you were using that. So I am going to stop there and see if there are any questions. Again, feel free to unmute or type in the chat, but that was kind of the whole overview of Adobe Spark Video. And I'm showing you guys an example of one that has narration. Okay, so you can see here, this one I narrated. And it was just, I use this for an example. So, but you can see as I scroll through them, none of them have the little sound bar except for the one that I narrated. So if I go to preview, my summer vacation. So you can hear the narration with the softened music in the background. So again, if you're adding sound, you're still going to have that music in the background with the narration and with any videos that you insert. This one, I'll show you an example of this one. This is something I did an app smash. So I used two different applications. So I used Storyboard that, and I created a cartoon. Then I took the images from the cartoon and brought them into Adobe Spark so I can animate and narrate. So if you look, you can see that each of these slides are narrated on here. So then it makes a cute little video of the storyboard. So you have Storyboard that, which has where you can print out the physical cartoon, and then you have Adobe Spark Video where you can pull those images right into it. And I used the square size, so it looked smaller, looked more cartoonish. So if there are no other questions, thank you, and hopefully you guys can use Adobe Spark in your classroom. Whether it's something, simple for a welcome message to your students, or something as much as a sub plan for your students to be able to see how something works. So have a great day. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.